Okay, let's just dive right in. We have all been there, right? That hot, flushing feeling when someone says something that just hits a nerve. But what if getting offended wasn't something that just happens to us? What if it's actually a reaction we can understand and maybe even get a handle on? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down.
This idea right here, from psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor Viktor Frankl, is pretty much the key to everything. Everything we're about to talk about lives inside that tiny little space he's talking about, that gap between what happens to you and how you decide to react. Seriously, that space, that's where all your power is.
So here's the core idea, the thing you really need to get. The words themselves, they don't actually have the power. The power comes from the meaning we give them. Just that one little shift in how you see it is the key to taking back control. It's not about them, it's about your interpretation. So here's our roadmap. First, we'll talk about what's really going on in your brain. Then we'll look at the 4 common triggers for getting offended. After that, we're getting practical with a 3-step toolkit you can actually use. And finally, we'll see how all of this helps you shift from just reacting to truly responding. All right, let's get into it. Part 1, your brain under threat. To really get why being offended feels so physical, you gotta look at the science. It turns out your brain has a really old school reason for making you feel like you're under attack from just a simple comment. So meet the main character in this whole drama, your amygdala. You can think of it as your brain's ancient, super jumpy security guard. Its only job is to scan for danger and slam the alarm button, which, you guessed it, kicks off that whole fight or flight thing. And here is the glitch in this system, and it is a big one. Your amygdala, it literally cannot tell the difference between a real physical threat, like a lion walking into the room, and a social threat, like someone insulting you. To that primitive part of your brain, it's the exact same danger, and it rings the exact same alarm bell. So what happens then? Well, when that alarm goes off, the stress hormone cortisol just floods your system. Your heart starts pounding, your muscles get tight, you feel, and this is the important part, you feel physically attacked. That feeling isn't in your head. It's your body's real, hardwired response to what it thinks is a genuine threat. Okay, next up, 4 faces of offense. So if our brain is sounding this crazy alarm, what's actually setting it off? If we can understand our own personal triggers, we have a much better shot at diffusing that emotional bomb before it even goes off. It usually boils down to one of these 4. An ego offense is when something challenges who you think you are. A values offense is when someone steps on your personal moral code. A social offense is a threat to your reputation. And then there's the sneaky one, projection offense, which is when you get angry about something in someone else that you secretly don't like about yourself. Knowing which one is your go-to is the first step. Part 3, your 3-step toolkit. Okay, we've talked a lot about the why, the science, the triggers. Now let's get to the how. These are the actual tools you can use right in that heated moment to get back in the driver's seat. It all starts with this number, 10, specifically 10 seconds. This is your secret weapon against your own brain's overreaction. This is called the 10-second rule, and it's pure neuroscience. The second you feel that spark of offense, you just stop. Count to 10. That little delay is often all it takes for the smart, rational part of your brain, the prefrontal cortex, to catch up with your panicked amygdala and basically say, hey, calm down. There's no lion in here. So here it is, the full toolkit. It's super simple. Number 1, pause for those 10 seconds. Number 2, ask yourself one very important question. And number 3, assume a different, much more likely motive. Let's break down those last 2. That second step is to ask yourself, what would reacting actually prove? Because think about it, lashing out in anger, it usually just broadcasts your own insecurity. But a calm response, or, no response at all, that sends a way more powerful message. It says, your words don't control me. I'm the one who defines who I am. And the third tool is this amazing mental model called Hanlon's razor. It's a simple but honestly game-changing idea. Just assume the other person wasn't trying to be cruel. They were probably just being thoughtless. Most people are just so wrapped up in their own stuff, they don't even think. Making this your default assumption can put out the fire before it even starts. So now our last section, from reaction to response. When you start to put all of this together, the science, the self-awareness, the toolkit, you unlock this really profound shift. You move from an involuntary reaction to a conscious, intentional response. I mean, let's be real, right? Being easily offended is just exhausting. It's like you're handing everyone you meet a remote control to your own emotions. Taking that control back isn't about not having feelings. It's about choosing what you do with them. It's about being more grounded and, honestly, more powerful in who you are.
So let's just recap the big stuff. 1. Offense is your interpretation, it's not a fact. 2. Your brain is running on some old software and treats an insult like a real threat. 3. Your toolkit is to pause, question your motives, and assume they were probably just clueless, not evil. And remember, the goal isn't to not feel anything. The goal is to feel it and still be the one calling the shots.
And that brings us all the way back to where we started. You can't control what people say or do. You just can't. That's the stimulus. But between that stimulus and your response, there's that space. And that space belongs to you. So the only question left is, what are you going to do with it?